Hello.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alicia and this is
Aria. By the way, I have somewhat sunburn woven burn up. That's why my face is red.
Yeah, she got a little sunburn. So, if you're new here, I normally do tumbler tutorials, but sometimes I throw in some extra stuff, and this is going to be one of those different extra kind of weirdo projects, but I am going to take this Easter egg, she's got a blue one, I got a purple one, and I'm going to turn it into this cool dragon egg. So if you're interested to see how I did this, stick around and I'm going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I did was print it up or cut out dragon scales, and I cut out 2 sheets. So I'm not going to show you doing 2 sheets. I just want to show you the one. You get the idea. And I took them all and I put them in this glass bowl to make it easy to grab them. Here is the plastic egg. I'm just going to snap it together. I'm not going to glue it. If you want to glue it, you can. I didn't feel it was necessary. So I am using this double-sided tape, and let me tell you guys, this stuff is the stickiest double-sided tape I've ever used. So I've had double-sided tape before, the thin strips, and I've tried to use it on a cup to apply dragon scales that way on a tumbler, and they were like falling off, right? So I was like getting frustrated, and I wound up when I glued these pieces on, I wound up doing it with Mod Podge, which was like really time consuming and messy. So my husband picked this tape up, I believe at like Lowe's, I think it was, to use on the stair treads that we were putting down on a set of stairs. And I used them because I was putting the stair treads down, and I was like, holy crap, this is the stickiest stuff I've ever seen. Or used, sorry, not seen, used. So I'm like, you know what? Let me try applying the dragon scales using this. So guess what, guys? Ridiculous sticky, absolutely perfect. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm applying the tape around it, but not on the very bottom because I want it to sit nice, and I'm afraid that if I put the dragon scales on the bottom, it's going to weeble wobble, so I don't want to put it directly on the bottom. Maybe later I'll finish it. I'm thinking I won't. I think I'm just going to leave it alone. So I just take, big pieces and put it around until I get the bottom. And it's awkward because of the shape of it. You can't just wrap it around nice. So you got to do it in pieces. So it takes a little bit to get this applied. And, it keeps sticking to my mat and it's sticking to my hand. And you can't really see that, but that's what's going on. And so then I go in and I can apply, like once I get that one on, I can do the next strip pretty easily around the center. And that's going to seal the center shut. So if you're worried about it coming undone, this is why I didn't worry about gluing it. All right, so now here comes the tedious part. I am going to start applying the dragon scales. And if I didn't mention earlier, which I think I did, and I'm sorry, I cut these out of cardstock. So you can use light cardstock paper. I would not use paper. It's too thin. I do like the cardstock because you get that dimension out of it. So you get that layering. You can use any color cardstock that you want. It doesn't matter because you will be spray painting it anyway. So I did this egg in pearlescent white. So, but I still spray painted it because putting these dragon scales on you're not going to get a perfect fit because of the curve of the egg and because of the curve up and down. So you've got kind of a few things going against you. So really just get in there and stagger them the best that you can. And if you're going to have some spots, and that's okay. It's not a big deal if you have some spots because that spray paint's going to fill it in. And look, there's nothing that's perfect, and it's imperfectly perfect when you don't have the perfect layering of scales, if that makes any sense. So I hyperspeed this up for you because it will take forever. It'll take a long time and make this video really long if I made you go through this process. So it's just get them on tape, get them on tape, get them on tape. All right, so I've got that on. I'm going to put a few on the bottom. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to wet this cardstock down a little bit because some of these pieces stick up a little bit. So I just lightly mist it with some water and press it down. Pressing it down is going to make sure that there's no lifting when I add the Mod Podge. So once I'm done that, I'm going to add my Mod Podge and I'm going to go downwards and upwards. I'm going to bring them up underneath those scales, but not clumpy because I still want to get that dimension. So once I get the Mod Podge on and I let it dry for about a half an hour, it's still a little tacky, I'm going to go ahead and use my hands to press it down again. So I do this with every layer of Mod Podge that I do. So I do 3 layers of Mod Podge. I let this dry for about another half an hour or so. Here we go with number 2. This is layer number 2. I'm going to let that dry. I am going to again start pressing it all all down. It's getting flatter and flatter as I do it, but you still got those scales. So if that makes any sense. All right, Mod Podge layer 3, pressing it down after half an hour. I let it dry overnight, and now I'm going to give it 2 coats of Rust-Oleum's Matte White. Once that dries for a couple hours, now I'm going to come in with my Aleene's Tack It over and over. I'm going to put some in a cup, and I'm going to give a couple squirts of water just to thin it out a little bit. I don't want it to be full thickness, but I don't want it to be really thin either. So I'm just going to mix that up with a stick, and then I'm going to apply it with a fine bristle brush, and I'm just going to go around the entire egg. And then I will let that dry for about probably 15-20 minutes. Things have been taking a little bit longer to dry. It's been really, really humid. So, dry times, I always say, vary depending on your area and the humidity in your room and the temperature in your room. So once it is dry, I'm going to come in with my mica powders. And I'm using 5 different mica powders. And these all are pearlescent or white, if you will. But they have a tint of other colors. So the one has a tint of blue, and then purple, green, pink, and then the other is just pearl, which is like kind of a goldish. And so what I wanted to do was just do stripes around the egg so that when you spin it, you're going to see like different color shifts. You're going to see that pearl with like a hint of purple and a hint of blue. So that's all I'm doing. If you're not familiar with working with mica powders, because I am using a lot of mica powder on this egg, I am wearing a dust mask. It's very, very fine, and it's messy, and it gets up in the air, and so you might want to wear a dust mask. It's completely up to you. It's optional, but I prefer to wear it. And I'm applying it using a fine bristle makeup brush, and I'm just putting it in strips. There's really nothing more to that. It's pretty easy peasy. And you're going to feel sticky spots. So you're going to know where you need to put more mica powder. And it'll glide down and then it'll catch. So I think you can apply this with your fingers too if you want it. I prefer not to. I prefer to use my brush. Just make sure that tacket is really dry and not wet, because it will clump up on the brush, which I thought mine was completely wet, and it must have got up underneath some of those scales, or I thought it was completely dry and it was still like a hair tacky. So you can see the end of my brush has a little bit of white on there, but that's okay. It comes off really easy with alcohol. But it didn't clump up on the egg, so I'm really happy about that. And if you can see, as I'm spinning it, you're going to see the different hues. It's hard to catch on camera. It's better. So this is really, in essence, an albino egg. All right, guys, so these eggs are done. So I did a white one, and then off camera, I did 2 more. Aria wanted a blue to purple color shift. How cool is this one?
And a green to pink color.
And we did a green to pink color shift. This mica powder is beautiful. So this one and this one are not done with Glitter Makes It mica powders, but they're working very hard to get chameleons in, so be patient. I'm sure they're going to be getting them and releasing them really soon. But for right now, they do have these pearlescent ones that are really, really cool with these hints of different colors. So overall, these eggs, not hard to do at all. A little bit tedious, but totally worth it in the end. What do you think, Ari?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's it for this tutorial. Thank you all for watching. Please make sure you give us a
like and subscribe. That's it.
a thumbs up. Subscribe, share, comment. We love to hear your feedback.
That's it of the tutorial? That's it?
No, the tutorial's already done. This is just, the ending closing remarks.
Are they supposed to know that?
Probably not. It's okay. All right, make sure you check out my craft group. It's a craft thing for things that I do that I don't post tutorials on, as well as Glitter Makes It Superstars group. They have a lot of talented artists in there, and every Sunday they have a giveaway, so be sure to check that out, as well as my Instagram page, and I will see you all next time. Bye.
Try not to get sunburned. It really hurts.
Okay, say bye.
Bye.
Bye. So the last thing I just want to let you know, to finish off these eggs, I did paint the bottoms the same color as the egg and went over with mica powder, and then I gave it a couple of coats of gloss clear. So you can do polyacrylic, you can do epoxy, a very light layer, or you can spray it. It's totally up to you how you want to finish these eggs, based, I guess, on how you intend to display them.